What's up guys, Sean here with Ace Fishing, and today I'm going to show you guys how to build the Rietvlei Rig. Okay, so I've been getting a lot of questions how to construct your own Rietvlei Rig, hence the reason for the video. I'm just going to do this quick video to show you guys how to manufacture a Rietvlei Rig, and I hope this helps. First off, what you'll need is you'll need line, right? You're going to need 2 hooks, and you'll need some swivels. So this is so small, I'm going to try and get this in to focus. So, right, you're going to need some of that, and then obviously you'll need your weight. So, for the purpose of this video, I'm using bulky stuff, so it's easier to show you guys on the video how to do this. This is a M3 mushroom weight, which is way big. You know, you really throw this when you're desperate. Like I said in the previous video, you know, bank angling for carp is a finesse type technique. I'll show you guys the difference between the rig I'm going to make now, which is really a bulky approach, not something I'm going to recommend you guys to use, but this is just for the purpose to show you guys how to make it. And then I'll show you the difference between this bulky rig and the finesse type rig. The line that I'm going to use, we're going to start with what I would call the backbone of the rig. And you need to have like 24-pound line for this, because when, like I've explained, once you've got your maize meal concoction that we refer to here in South Africa as mealie bomb, once you've got that on top of your weight, you know, it creates some weight, and as soon as you cast that out, it puts a lot of pressure onto the line. So usually when guys try and fish a rig without a leader on 7-pound line for the backbone of the leader, they break the line. You know, the line snaps, and that's hence the reason for the 24-pound line, because it can absorb that pressure with the weight that you're throwing. So first off, 24-pound monofilament line, that's what we use. You know, it's got a lot less memory. You can see the memory in the line, but the memory is the coils in the line. It's also a lot cheaper to purchase, which just makes sense to use then for the purposes that we're using it for. So first off, you have to create the backbone of the rig, and the way you're going to do it is you're going to take the line and you're going to fold it double onto itself. Then what I do is I put 2 fingers down and I wrap it around once, twice. Okay, so that's not long enough. You have to play around with it to get the right length, right? So I wrap it around once, twice, and then I pull it off my fingers, and then I push it from, I take it over and you bring it in from the front side, right? So there we go. So now you wet this whole concoction here, or else when you pull it tight, the line starts burning onto itself, and it makes the line weak, which would, you know, force the line to break as well when you've got a decent sized fish on. So this is just the jig that I've made for my rigs. I'll do a video on how to make your own little jig. I mean, it's fairly simple. It's a piece of rafter with a few nail pins in it. So you're going to wet the line. So now you've wet the line just to lubricate it, and what we're going to do is we're going to put the line over that side there and over this side here, right? And you keep this whole story down and you start pulling tighter, right? So there you go, and now you've got this consistent little loop that's going to have the consistent size every time when you make rigs, you know. And that's another thing with bank angling. With all your gear and your bait presentations, you know, consistency is key. You know, people think that it doesn't really matter. You have to remember that carp isn't a reaction type predator fish like bass or pike. It's a shoaling type fish. Like, if you would compare it to land mammals, it would probably be the cow of the water. You know, it just cruises along grazing off the bottom. So presentation is key, you know, and that little fine details does make a huge difference, you know, especially if there's a lot of pressure on the water. Fish tend to get finicky. When your presentation isn't right or it's bulky, fish tend to know that something's wrong here, and then they pull into another direction. You don't catch a lot of fish, or you don't catch any fish at all. So I've got my nail clippers. So what you're going to do is the strand that's left over this one here, you're going to take that off there, about like 2 millimeters away from the knot. So this is a knot that can't slip. It's very strong. Alright, so there is the backbone in essence. So now we need to trim this backbone to get it to a specific length of the type of rig that you're going to fish. And once again, this is where this handy rig comes in. So if you look at this nail here, this is going to determine the length of the backbone of the rig. So if you take a ruler, this is more or less about 28 centimeters, right? So all we do is you take it over there, you pull it up to there, pull it tightly, and then you get your marker there on the edge. You take it off, and then you just clip it there. And this obviously is waste, you throw this away. So there we go, that is the backbone of your Rietvlei rig. The second step is to basically tie the line onto your hooks. Now there's two methods. The proper way is to create a snail knot onto the shaft of the hook. And what that does is it's very strong, and the second thing is it tends to leave the bait in line. You know, the hook of the eye is in line with your line that's actually going onto the shaft of the hook. If you use other knots, then the hook tends to turn like this or like that, and it creates a scenario where your hookup rate's not that good. So in order for you to have a good hookup rate, you have to use a snail knot, because it's directly in line with the eye of the hook. It really does make a difference. So what you're going to do is you're going to take the hook as such with the barb at the top, and you'll take the line and you come in from underneath. Okay, so you take the line through and you bring it around again and you push it through again like that. Now what I do is, just to keep this whole story together, I take these two fingers and I put it over the eye, so I capture it like that. And what you do is you pull on the top one, which is in essence taking line off your spool, just to give you enough line to work with, right? Okay, so now what we're going to do is you take this one and you pull it with this finger, this one, back, and now you swap the fingers out again. Okay, right, so now you're bringing this whole story back onto the shaft and you pinch it down there. So you can see it's right up on the shaft. So now what we do is we take this line and then we start rolling from the front towards yourself 8 times. Okay, so take it back. Okay, that didn't work. It's all twisted and tight. Okay, so let's start it again. And you go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Okay, right, so just keep pressure on that it doesn't run away from you. So now what I do is I take these two fingers again and I pinch the snell that it doesn't jump off and out. So now you take this, you twist it around like that, you pull it over the top of that one, and then you pull it tightly. So the key is to pull it slowly, keep pressure with these two fingers on the snell knot, and once you get to the point of no return where it's like right up against your fingers, then you pull it quickly. But be careful, don't pull the hook into your hands. Okay, this should be done under the supervision of adult people, and you need to use your discretion when you use this. If you're not going to do it right, you're going to hook yourself, and it's going to hurt like hell. I know, because I have hooked myself before. Okay, so now you can see that's kind of like the point of no return, and then we pull it quickly, and there you go. So there's your snail knot. And then what you do is, you'll see from this side now, we'll take the one coming from the spool right up against the knot itself, and we take it down there. Right, so there you go, there's your first hook link. I'm quickly going to do the second one, that we have 2 of these, but let me show you how to trim this one first as well. So now back to the jig, right? On this one here, this is going to determine the length of your hook link, and this is about 13 centimeters, right? So all you do is you hook the hook in, pull it tightly, get your point. Then you're gonna cut this off. You take the snippers and you cut it off, and this is waste. Right, so now there we go. There's the first hook link, and you'll see as well, you know, as soon as that fish picks it up, it just hooks in like that. It's a quick hook into the side of the mouth. It just works. I made my second hook link, so we've got the 2 now. And then what you do is you take that little swivel and you push the line from below, and then what you're going to do is you're just going to turn it back on itself, and you're going to twist it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 and 8 times, and then you push it back through from the back side, right? And then you pull this line tightly. Remember, again, with the monofilament you have to wet it, so we wet it there just to lubricate it, and you put it back on there and you just pull it tightly. So there we go, right? And then with this knot, you can just, when the fish swim and they're grazing and they're feeding off the bottom, if this thing is lying on the bottom and that fish touches it, you know, if there's no grass or twigs on the bottom and they touch that, it's a key indication something's off. So try and nip that about like 1 millimeter to 2 millimeters away, just to try and eliminate that problem there. So you can see there, it's very close to the knot itself, and it's not going anywhere. It's really strong. So let me just do this one as well. Push it in from below. Bring the line back on itself, twist it 8 times. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then push it back from the back side, and just give it a little tug that it just starts biting, and then once again lubricate it, and then you put it over there and you pull it stiff. There we go. Okay. Once again, you nip that little bit off, like 1 to 2 millimeters from the knot. There we go. Okay, so now the 2 hook links is done. So now you're going back, okay, and once again, back to the hook links. Your hook links needs to be 7 pounds, okay, because you want a very, very subtle, soft presentation on the bottom for the fish. And if you're going to use 24-pound line, they're going to see this. It's stiff, it's got a lot of memory. You can see how it's twisting. With 7-pound line, it's very soft, it's movable, it's going to flutter around in the current, which gives it a very natural type look for the carp. So remember, the hook link 7 pounds, monofilament. The backbone of the rig, it's going to be 24-pound monofilament. Alright, so let's go back to this side. Okay, so what you're going to do is, first of all, you're going to take some normal clothing bead. So I'll put a picture of beads in there. There's a little small red bead, and then we pull this through onto the line, so you can see it's lying there. And the reason for the bead is, if you look at your weight's made of lead. It's got sharp edges sometimes when it's not finished off properly, and that starts chewing through on the knots. So if you get a big fish and that bumps onto the knot and there's pressure on the line, it can sort of, you know, pinch or rub through on the knot, and then the line breaks and you lose the fish. So we put the bead onto the knot there, then you put your weight through. No, sorry, I'm lying. You put your hook link through first. Okay, so you put your hook link through, onto the line, let it lie on top of the bead. Then you put another bead. I'm going to use a yellow one. There we go. So there's a yellow one. So you'll see there's two beads with the swivel of the hook link in between. And what this does is it's going to create the option for this thing to run freely. So it's going to glide up and down in the current when the fish is swimming around. And it's going to create some movement. So what happens is, if the fish picks up this top hook, it can actually swim for like, let's say 18 centimeters before it even realizes that it's been hooked, and by that time it creates a hook set in the fish's mouth. And you know, you don't even need to strike. If your reel starts running, the fish is basically on, you can just slow down the reel to pull the pressure, and that hook is just going to set even deeper into its mouth, and then you start playing your fish and you bring it in. There we go. You put it upside down. Okay, so the weight goes upside down like that. Now we put in another bead. I'm going to use another yellow one. There we go. So it sits right at the bottom there. And then what we're going to do is we take your last hook link, and now we take that same knot again from the bottom, turn it onto itself, back like that, and then you twist it 8 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 and 8. Push it from below again like that, and then you just give it a little tug like that. There, lubricate it like that, and then you can just pull it tightly. So there we go. Alright, and then once again. Okay, so once again, that little piece there, 1 to 2 millimeters away from the knot. Clip that off, and there you go. And that there is your gliding Rietvlei. You get a solid fixture one as well, but most competitive guys use the gliding Rietvlei, and it works. And you can actually see how far the fish can run before it realizes, and by that time it's taken off. You know, it's running like mad when it realizes there's something hooked into its mouth. It's trying to get away, and that just sets that top hook even deeper into its mouth. Same thing with the bottom one. The bottom one is fixed. So with the weight, let's say the weight's lying on this side, it starts swimming, the weight pulls down, and then all of a sudden that hook sets into its mouth, and it realizes, oh damn, I'm hooked, and it starts swimming like mad. And then you just have to play your fish slowly, get it in, and remember, you know, when you play a fish, let it go, bring it back. When the fish wants to go, give it a line, let it go. Once it comes back, a carp submits. So what happens is you don't net a carp when it's coming in and you can see it. You wait for the fish to submit. So how does a carp submit? It actually turns onto its side, and once it turns onto its side, it's ready to be netted. You can net it, and there we go. So that's the Rietvlei rig in essence, and I'm going to do a quick one with proper 7-pound line, 24-pound line, and the proper hook sizes with the proper weight size, and I'll quickly show you the difference between this bulky one and the finesse type that you are supposed to use. Like I said, this is just the presentation one, the bulky one which you should not use, but this is just the one that I used because it's got bigger components to show you guys easier how this Rietvlei works. Okay, and this is the finesse type that I've been talking about. So you can see it's a bit smaller. It's going to give you a much better finesse type presentation on the bottom once you've casted it into the water. The normal size weights I use, you know, I know the professional guys, they start off with a M0. This is actually a M1. M, once again, for mushroom weight. It looks like a mushroom upside down, right? So it's a mushroom weight. I use white or clear 7-pound monofilament for my hook links. I use size 1. Chemically sharpened hooks for the summertime, and then I would downsize in the winter time to a 0.8 hook. and then I'm using camouflaged 24-pound monofilament for the backbone of this rig, with the yellow beach you can see there. And there you go, and that's basically, this is the gliding Rietvlei. So you'll see there it glides up and down. Right, okay, and then once you're done with this, you get a little Ziploc bag like this, and then you can just open it up and you just put the hook links in first, drop the weight in, you push the eye in, and then you zip it up. And there you go. So there's one. So usually when I go fishing socially, I would have probably between 10 to 15 of these size 1, and I'll have between 10 and 15 size M0s, all the way up to M3s, depending. The heavier the wind is, or the stronger the wind is, you know, creating waves, I'll start upsizing in weight size, that it doesn't roll around on the bottom, you know. So obviously this is a lot heavier. I will use this weight size when there's strong winds that I'm fishing in, but I will not use 24 pounds on my hook links. The hook link still stays 7 pounds. If you guys get into a situation where you're casting in, there's a lot of snags there, then just take your nail clippers and you take off the top hook and you leave the bottom hook. Reason for that is, once the carp picks up the weight, it's in the air. So this can't snag anywhere. You're just running the weight in front of the fish and you're actually guiding it through the grass or timber or whatever is in front of you. And 9 times out of 10 you will get the fish out. So I hope this was useful, and thanks for watching. Like I said, subscribe to the channel, push that notification button, and hopefully it helps you guys to catch bigger fish and more fish. Till next time.